Hello everyone, welcome back to the Oceania Apprentice Level 7K tournament. I am one of the co-hosts of the tournament, Sergio85, and alongside with me in the booth is Potassium M. Potassium F! What?
Potassium M.
What?
Gonna name change now.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, anyway. Excited for this match. This is gonna be a really interesting one. We got a losers bracket match, I believe. Gonna be Holo the Wise versus Pavin. And interesting to see how this goes because I think on paper Pavin is slightly higher seed, but the two of them have had very close scores throughout the tournament. Pretty much everything, actually. It's not even, most matches we've seen so far has been Rice versus LN. That's been a big trend, but looking, the qualifier scores, they're both very capable with the LNs. If you both of them getting like what 960 970k on stage 2 means that they should be fairly comfortable with some of these LN picks.
Yep. And interestingly enough, Pavin has mentioned this on the in-game chat that they are going to be playing MWC right after this match. So
yeah, interesting scheduling.
that's
If
interesting.
anyone's been not paying attention to MWC, Thailand has made top 4, and they are going to be versing Indonesia. I believe it's 13:30 UTC, which is an hour and a half away from now, to determine who gets podium. So, extremely important match for Pavin. But, hopefully this one finishes up early enough that he gets some practice in. We'll see.
But that really depends on how both of these players are going to play out in this match in particular, because at least on what you said, you did mention like close scores overall between these two, and like it's kind of funny to mention as well that we haven't really gotten a tiebreaker match in this weekend just yet. Is this the one?
We've had a couple of close calls, or at least I remember there was one that very nearly went to tiebreaker, the one earlier this morning, with Orkanos, I believe, winning that one, but this one definitely has the potential. The one kind of caveat I would say is something to think about, similar to what we just mentioned, is that given the whole MWC situation with Pavin, I'm not sure how much he's been playing 7 key this week. I think it's fairly reasonable to assume that most of the focus has been on 4 key, but we'll see.
That's fair. I I guess in a way you could just treat this as more like just getting the fingers, like getting the blood flowing on the fingers really this match, and then
Yeah.
immediately and then start to build up on for that Thailand match, Thailand Indonesia match later this evening.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be something. It's not going to be, obviously, the most warm-up, but it's definitely, as you said, get the fingers moving off a little bit. You're not completely cold, but of course there's going to be time after this anyway, I think. So, let's see. They're playing Nightcore for some reason on this map. I don't know what this map is. Bit of a crazy diff name on this one.
I did notice that the original chart is actually around like 4 minutes 20. So yeah, they went for Nightcore.
Yes, to speed it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
The long jack's actually showing a bit. Is this a prelude to Super Fantasy?
Oh, okay, yeah. Some of these, I was gonna say, some of the patterns look not too bad with Nightcore, but these patterns now looking a little bit brutal. Playing fast, those jacks end up scaling up. I imagine that ends up scaling pretty difficult with 1.5 rate.
Yeah. This chart is effectively a 150 BPM. Actually, no. Wait a minute. 0.75 with 300. What's quick math?
Wait, what was that? Wait, what? Oh,
225 BPM.
Yeah, 225. Okay, yeah.
225, yeah.
I was confused about what you were doing for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, this chart is effectively like a 225 BPM at 1/4 stream chart, and it's not a BPM that you'd explore in 7K that much, especially at this level.
I mean, thankfully, even though 300 BPM, obviously, it does look like most of it is snapped to 1/2 snaps. If I'm not like, it kind of looks like, you know, equivalent 150 BPM streams is what it kind of looks like. It kind of makes sense, but hard for me to tell. I can't really read anything without flashlights, so despite being a commentator, I struggle to understand what's going on in matches.
We should put like a lane cover on your monitor.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm gonna.
During commentary.
That's an idea. Yeah, just put a piece of paper on my screen. Cut it out.
No, I guess it would look more like the hidden mod because the scroll speeds.
I'll need a way to reduce the scroll speed as well. But oh well. I do know the maps beforehand for the actual pool. That helps out quite a lot. But it looks like Pavin is going to win this one just by a little bit. Of course, this one does look a little bit harder and probably weirder to play with DT than some of the maps that we have in the pool.
Yeah, this is kind of like out of the ordinary. I would think even no mod.
Yeah, it did look like a fairly nice hybrid pick kind of map. But yeah, it's going to be interesting when no warm up from Pavin. I understand that one. And I'm really interested to see, does anyone ban LN? I feel like both players are very good at LN. Pavin last week did struggle a little bit with some of the Rice picks, but I don't know if that's going to be the case this week as well. I do think Pavin is capable for playing them. Like, I mean, we saw like, you know, the stage 1 score being really high from Pavin as well, so should be at least capable of holding some decent accuracy on some of the Rice picks.
Alright. It does appear that Pavin rolled literally double their their opponents.
So Holo the Wise gets the first ban, and this is going to be an interesting one. Rice. Okay. That's an interesting ban. This is why, in a lot of cases, especially in, you know, matches like these where you don't know, you know, getting the first ban is actually a little bit of a disadvantage, because if neither player knows what the strategy of each other is, now Pavin has some information.
And you also mentioned that with Pavin struggling a bit on the Rice, this Rice one is kind of okay. That leads me to what I was about to say. Like, getting Rice 1 and Rice 5 banned by both of these players actually opens up the pool, possibly for Pavin, just a bit, like, to not struggle with the harder Rice picks. These two charts in particular are like, yeah, sure, you could combo away, but you're going to be compromising accuracy, or the other way around.
Yeah, there's still Decipher, which I think is, you know, another one of those more difficult Rice picks still up. But other than that, yeah, they've banned out most of the Rice pool here. So, I mean, you're not really going to see this very often. I don't think we're going to get another match where 2 Rice maps are banned. Very rare that you see 2 LN players, especially, you know, when you're looking at 4-digit in 7 key. There's not that many players that are comfortable with LNs, so I'm excited to see whether we have that many. It looks like Pavin's starting off with the Rice map, though. This one, of course, being different from all the Rice maps. A very specialized skill set the chords are.
Yep, and I am, like, at least from what I've seen throughout the entire weekend, there's like only 2 reasons why you would pick this. It's either you're actually really good at sharpshooting your ratio, or you just want to stare at the background while playing.
Yeah. That too.
Nothing in between.
Yeah. I do think this is one of those interesting maps as well, just, you know, talking about the map itself, where I feel like both players always have a bit of a chance on this one, because even if someone is really good, the patterns in this one are not necessarily weird, but they're difficult. Much more difficult than it kind of looks, even though it's fairly slow, even though it looks fairly straightforward from a viewing perspective. Playing these, I think, especially what you mentioned before, you know, some of the spacebar jacks as well, very easy to mess up. And if you mess up, you know, that's a lot of score that goes to waste. And Holo Wise, very early miss there.
Not exactly the best sign you'd want, especially with Pavin getting a 99.99. I don't think I should be mentioning the right side of the screen a bit too much for now. But yeah,
whoa. I was just gonna say that accuracy is really crazy. But we'll see if he manages to maintain that. Of course, the combo is more important in this case. And Pavin misses right as I say that. Holo the Wise is trade. Yeah, okay. So still in favor of Pavin, unless Pavin finds another miss.
We've seen some funny miscounts on this chart over the weekend. So
this is one of those.
I think there was like one matchup, like both of the players getting 1:20 ratios, but to 20 misses as well. Both of these players trading at the same chord.
Oh, and Pavin missing just a little bit more is causing Holo Wise to take the advantage, even though... Oh, actually, Holo Wise also has an ACK lead now as well, due to the misses from Pavin. Pavin misses again, actually, so this lead is going to grow. 5-digit lead now for Holo Wise. Still holding strong with 99.6. And yeah, just the whole second half. It's so easy to drop these. Both players trading once again. That favors Holo Wise, who's in the lead.
And then here we go with the harder patterns, both players finding another trade. As you mentioned, trades do favor the person in the lead. And yeah, there's another one.
They're both
Pavin with a better accuracy now.
Yeah, actually, Holo Wise actually is dropping a little bit, but the combo lead has been enough so far. Hang on a second. Oh, but Pavin misses at the end. I think it's still in Holo Wise's favor. Oh, that was... What? Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
That was close.
Oh, what is that ratio?
What? 93, but 13 misses. Unfortunate.
Oh, man.
It's going to be 700 points.
The miscounts are so funny in this chart.
They really are. It's a map that's really easy to get good ACK on, understandably, right? The rhythm is as simple as you could possibly get. But yeah, it's just the coordination with the fingers. You hit one too many fingers up. You forget to hit one of the fingers. Very easy to find the misses. And that's going to be a break point, actually. Holo Wise winning on Pavin's first pick. So now Holo the Wise gets the pick here. And I wonder, are we getting the LNs early on? I'm not sure if that's... Oh yeah, it is going to be LN2 Sanctuary being the first pick. Now I've heard some mixed things here. Feel free to give your opinion on this one, but like I've heard a few people between the two, you know, LN1, LN2. We've got You Are My Curse and Sanctuary. I've heard some people say that they find Sanctuary easier, and in my head, I don't understand that whatsoever. Maybe I'm just not good at it. I don't know.
I think that there's like a lot of ways to look at it. Me personally, I find Sanctuary like way more consistent to combo. Alright. But then I find You Are My Curse way more consistent to ACK. But I cannot, for my life, like go for a full combo run on You Are My Curse without compromising my accuracy at all.
Yeah, I think it's the rice notes on Sanctuary that throw me off a little bit. Because You Are My Curse now, I have a fairly consistent FC and accuracy on, but Sanctuary I have not been able to FC yet.
I mean,
it's one of those
I know
things.
your scores. Like you posted a 991k in Your My Curse, and it wasn't even. It was on the harder diff, I think.
Well, I had a 990k choke on the harder diff. Like it would have been probably, but I missed at the end. But anyway, this is the first LN map that we're seeing in this one, Holo the Wise versus Pavin. And it looks like off to good starts, but of course the harder part is yet to kick in. It's a fairly calm intro, all things considered. Oh, but Holo the Wise with the first miss. That doesn't bode too well. Those patterns reappear quite a lot later on. Okay, never mind. Both players.
Is this going to be like just both of these players trading misses every single time?
Yeah, we are still, I would say, within, you know, some of the easier patterns. Now it's getting a little bit denser. But if you're struggling with those intro patterns, some of these later ones are definitely, I expect some more misses maybe to come out later on then. And just like that,
Wise.
Holo the Wise, another miss. This is a big accuracy lead early on for Pavin.
Yeah, I think like aside from the combo, we really need to take a look at the accuracies between these two players because we might see Pavin dropping on the harder section of this chart, which is about to come. There's already one miss coming from Pavin, and the accuracy difference between these two players is not that much.
Yeah, it's fairly close, but Holo the Wise has been missing a lot more. Pavin did have one combo that went up to like 350. No other player has managed to reach that just yet, and both players trading misses as well. That's fairly good for Pavin. Holo the Wise was the one with the higher combo at that moment. And we're almost
Pavin.
out of this karma section. This is what I think just up ahead is the hardest part of the map.
Pavin needs to be careful here. Though they have like all of the not good.
Ooh.
Both players trading though.
Yeah, struggling
Holo
to
the
hold on
Wise.
to the combo. Pavin finding another miss now. If Holo the Wise manages to hold the combo, there is potential for comeback because, both players are missing so much, but neither player is managing to hold up a very consistent combo, and that's just giving the lead over to Pavin here, who has almost a full percent of AC lead.
I think this is practically safe to call now. Like
Yeah.
there's like just a few notes, and even like a major miss,
yeah.
won't be enough. Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely see misses in this section. It's deceptively easy to miss if you lose focus on this outro, but nothing too major. Holo Wise misses doesn't matter. This is Pavin's victory, and breakpoints being traded back and forth.
Yeah, no one has won their own pick just yet.
And perhaps this opens up the door for Pavin a little bit because all three LNs are open. And Pavin has just one. I would say, or maybe not the most convincingly, but it was a decent lead for Pavin. So I think that is a fair avenue of attack that Pavin may want to go for. Of course, the most similar to Map to Sanctuary left in the pool would be You Are My Curse. Super Fantasy is very different in terms of the style. But, okay, it's going to be Hybrid 2. Actually, you know what? Now that you say that, Hybrid 2 is fairly similar, as far as that goes. Just harder, I think.
What makes Hybrid 2 kind of weird is that, aside from the OD, like, being particularly high for a chart like this really plays into your LN coordination skill overall. That's like one of the aspects of LN coordination as well, that you must be able to hit whatever is there while you're holding like a few notes.
Yeah, that's the really tricky thing I think as well about this chart. You have the long notes being held down, and all the rice that's happening really tries its best to take your mind off of holding the correct notes, especially when the LNs change so much throughout this map that it is so hard to maintain any kind of consistent combo on it. And I feel like, given what we just saw in Sanctuary, obviously we're not going to be seeing any FCs. That would be crazy, right? But the misses, definitely the player who manages to reduce those misses as much as possible, to minimize them, that's going to be the one who has the advantage here.
Yeah, we've seen a few. Like, no one has full comboed a single chart just yet. Actually, now that I see it, I think this is the second best background in the entire pool.
Yeah, this is a pretty good background. Of course, nothing can be the best other than the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, it is a very short map though, so if any player does manage to get, a miracle kind of combo, a really strong combo going, that could be enough to carry, even if there is an AC deficit.
It does appear that Pavin got an early drop while we were loading in, both players getting consecutive misses.
trades back and forth,
Pav-
and this lead has gone straight back down because Holo the Wise drops in accuracy all the way down to 97%. Pavin staying at 98. It's giving a little bit of a lead.
It was a pretty sizable act drop here, and yet another one here coming from Holo the Wise. Kind of actually struggling to maintain like at least some semblance of a combo for both of these players in general. It's just that Pavin with the better accuracy overall kind of making a lot of the difference, and as well as Holo the Wise's miscounts.
Oh, and we can see, yeah, the combo is starting to build up for Pavin now, reaching that 400 combo mark. That is big, because now, as long as Holo the Wise continues, this trend, taking these misses, is gonna balloon the lead up so far. So we can already see 35,000 points, and it's growing.
And well on their way to grabbing to be the first player in this match to actually win their own pick.
This is actually a really strong. What is this combo from Pavin? He's comboing this.
Yeah, this is like, aside from the shaky start, this is a really good run.
Yeah, really strong pick here, and we can see 60,000 points. This map is over. Pavin finding an unlucky miss towards the end, but the work has been done. It is going to be, as you said, the first non-break point we're seeing. 2-1 for Pavin.
And now, if you're Holo the Wise, I think this is like the time that you might want to consider just putting in, like, going for the Rice picks in this pool and make this like in LN versus Rice battle, I would think.
Yeah, I definitely think, we only have 2 Rice maps left, but Baby potentially is a decent one to go for. I do think, after winning
Ooh, Super
Chupri.
Fantasy.
Oh, okay, Super Fan. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Hard to say for this one. Pavin did win Sanctuary fairly well, I would say, as well, but this one plays a lot different. It kind of plays more like a stream map, as long as you can get through a couple of those more tricky coordination sections in there.
Oh boy, Holo the Wise is mentioning they're side reading this entire
Both of them
pool.
are.
Wait, both of them are?
Pavin's asking, is this dense? Oh, that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so neither player knows any strategy. That means that, okay, think back to the start of the match. Pavin literally did pick because of background the first map, surely, right?
Yeah. nothing in between. Again, I said it. It's either you're good at it or you just want to see the background. Well, anyways, here we go with Super Fantasy, and I think like somebody just mentioned, like this is like a Pump It Up classic. Well, I play this at Pump It Up as well, and like my stamina is kind of dead. Ooh, Holo the Wise finding an early drop, and that is not something you'd want because it's a pretty messy drop as well.
Yeah, it's a fairly difficult intro, to be fair, and it is very, very early, so we can see this score lead is nothing but, oh, Holo Wise with another miss now, a couple more. And Pavin's maintaining the full combo so far. This lead is going to start to balloon.
Ooh, another drop there coming from Holo the Wise on the single column jack. Like, at least like if you could nail the combo aspect of this chart, this is like one of the easiest to play. But as it stands, like you can kind of relax, I guess, since the score gap is fairly large now. Just be careful and not rush somewhere.
Yeah, be careful of this section. This section is deceptively difficult. Even though it looks very straightforward, some of those releases are a little bit tricky, but both players getting through them just fine. And Pavin finds the first miss. That's the FC gone. And the accuracies, look at that. They're very close together. The trade of misses is going to work out decently well for Pavin, though. 10,000 points still, but that's shrinking really quickly now. Holo the Wise in the ACK lead.
Holo the Wise needs to maintain whatever combo they have, and Pavin needs to minimize these mistakes and maybe erase that accuracy as well, going into these final patterns, which is arguably the
Oh,
hardest to act. Holo the Wise finding a drop, and that might be sealing it in case Pavin doesn't. Unless Pavin finds a rush somewhere, but I don't see it happening now. Ooh,
it does happen, but
I
a
don't think it
little bit
matters.
too late. Yeah, 9,000 points, that's going to be perfectly fine. And Pavin manages to take another break point, 3-1 now, and Pavin gets his own pick.
Well, if there's anything, I guess I'm pretty sure Pavin should be picking you or my curse after this one. But if they aren't really sight reading most of the pool.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what the pick strategy is for Pavin. I guess, has he been picking based on background? Like Jupri and then the other hybrid?
Decipher.
Okay. Decipher, that's an interesting pick. Okay. Pavin did lose the only other Rise pick we've seen, but obviously this one, very different one, but much more kind of technical with some of the what do you even call that? The grace note things? Gallops?
Yeah?
That
Actually,
kind
Gallops
of...
might be the better term. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of heard
Gallops
a
might be the
similar
better term.
term like that before, but those ones can be very tricky to be able to just play, right? The columns that those notes are on as well, very hard to coordinate if you're not used to that kind of motion. So, especially with both players sight reading this, going to be interesting to see how they do on that kind of pattern, and that's a very early miss from Pavin.
I think like we won't be seeing too much action until like we get to the gallopy chord part, and as well like near the ending where it becomes like a broken chord stream of some sorts.
It looks like both players acting relatively fine, though. Pavin's managed to recover the accuracy back up to 99.4, but it is still a lead for Holo the Wise. Actually, the accuracy dropping for Pavin just a little bit. And oh, that's a miss, actually. That's going to matter a lot more than Pavin's early miss. So that means that Pavin is going to take a bit of a lead before we're getting into this next section coming up. We'll see.
One of the players negotiating these gallops just fine as of the moment. Some accuracy drops on Pavin there. Holo the Wise still maintaining almost 90%. And 2 consecutive misses from Pavin gives the lead back to Holo the Wise.
Yeah, these misses are brutal. The accuracy drop as well, all the way down to 98%. Surprisingly enough, Holo the Wise is performing extremely well on these patterns, barely even dropping that much accuracy on them.
Yeah, that was a relatively cleaner performance of Holo the Wise on that section. And I think like after that one, you just need to take it home. Because that's like where the most of the brunt of the misses are going to be coming from, or act drops.
That was definitely the trickiest part of the map. The rest of this, fairly straightforward kind of chord stream. But what remains to be seen, can the players play the chord stream that well? Looks like both players maybe struggling a little bit. Misses coming from both sides here, but a little bit more drops from Pavin overall. The accuracy is actually getting fairly close as Holo the Wise misses again, but this score lead buffer seems like it's probably going to be enough.
And I think that's pretty much it. Holo the Wise finding a breakpoint that they really needed.
Yeah, Holo Wise has won 2 breakpoints. That's the only 2 maps that they have won. And I think, you know, given that the 2 maps that they've won have been the Rice maps, I feel like the last Rice map that's left is a fairly good pick.
Yeah, baby, we haven't seen that chart that much. Which is surprising, though. I guess it's the nature of having a slow bracket chart in the pool. That might have affected its chances getting picked.
Yeah, so the issue that I have with Baby personally is that I feel like I could probably play it fine if it was a little bit faster, but because it's so slow, I at some point in the map I always end up trying to chord jack it, and that's just a terrible idea because I can't consistently combo it when I try to chord jack it.
I'm definitely not I'm definitely not taking notes on map pool feedback over the weekend.
Yep, some
Definitely not.
live map pool feedback here for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm definitely not taking notes. I mean, I've been observing the matches over the weekend, so yeah. Well, we'll see tomorrow at 14 UTC though on the quarterfinals pool.
Please don't make the maps too hard. I want to live.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry.
Okay, let's
No,
see.
I do understand. I do understand like the sentiment because I think I've been told by the other map pool selectors as well that we're going to be limiting like more of the slower brackets because even at a high level, players do struggle with stuff like
Whoa.
oh hold otherwise. So what are you doing?
Very early miss. It was in the first like 20 or so notes, so hopefully shouldn't matter once we get into the meat of the chart here. And oh, okay, there's a trade
That's a
miss.
big chord. And I think they missed an entire chord there, Pavin.
Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. That's going to mean Holo the Wise has a bit of a lead right now. Oh, a miss.
A pretty heavy drop there from Holo the Wise,
Yeah,
giving the lead back to Pavin.
Below 99% Holo the Wise is now, so Pavin holding on strong despite that earlier miss. It's been fairly steady for him. 99.5% now, and Holo the Wise finding another miss.
Yeah, that's a like every time Holo the Wise misses, actually it's a pretty substantial drop. Pavin finding the first one in a while, but this score buffer is like super sizable, and Pavin will need a few more of those, especially later, like in the final quarter of this chart.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of misses in like the break sections here, but it's not going to matter that much because this accuracy lead is fairly large, so it's going to need... Well, there's going to have to be a massive collapse from Pavin at the end of this if Holo the Wise wants to come back into it.
Well, there's one, but the score gap is pretty large, and every single time Holo the Wise misses, we see like a substantial drop from them, and just stretching the lead more towards Pavin's side.
And all of Pavin's misses, you know, Pavin is missing, but they're all fairly clean, right? It's still 99%. This accuracy is still really high. Okay, not 99% anymore, but the point still stands. 60,000 points in the lead. Both players did not take their hands off the keyboard despite sight reading. And actually, we can see the same number of misses for both players, 11 each, but the accuracy well in favor of Pavin. That's a really strong ratio, actually.
All right, Pavin has the entire pool wide open. I guess like if you want to abuse like miscounts, I guess you'd probably look at Marionette, but they're going for Lancelot instead.
Okay. We're not going to be seeing You Are My Curse. I'm very sad about that. Of course, we might see it later on in the match.
If this does go the distance and Holo the Wise picks this one, I picks LN1. I don't see happening, considering what happened on the previous Olympics. Yeah, Holo the Wise needing 2 straight points to force the tiebreaker.
And I will say that this is, well, out of the picks remaining, this one has a fair amount of rice in it. So if Holo the Wise wants to try and win off some of these the rice abilities that they have, this might be a potential for a breakpoint.
Kind of funny to mention as well that all of Holo the Wise's points in this match are breakpoints.
Yep. So hey, why not
So they
continue
need a third breakpoint in a row.
Wait, so that means
Yeah,
as well, Pavin has 3 breakpoints.
Yep.
Yeah, that means Pavin has 3 breakpoints, HoloWise has 2 breakpoints. There's only been 1 point that's been won on the player's own pick.
Pavin, we've seen like Pavin kind of struggle getting the accuracy early on in the chart, and they just build up to it further on. But Pavin finding 2 consecutive drops, which is not going to help their case, at least for this pick.
A big accuracy drop as well, dropping down below 98%. So HoloWise having a solid lead for now.
HoloWise just needs to be able to maintain this form. Like, try to limit the mistakes this time around.
Here we go into the main section of the chart here. This is where it gets fairly difficult to manage to hold on to the combo. Pavin's increased the accuracy back up to 98.7. So is going to be able to close in on some of that score gap. But another miss from Pavin.
HoloWise doing a good job maintaining this. Alright. I'm done.
Surfchew opens his mouth. And HoloWise, despite that unlucky miss there, still 99% accuracy. That's almost a full percent above Pavin. So still very safely in the lead for now. It's 30,000 points, but we still have some more sections of this map. Still a third left.
HoloWise doing a particularly good job of maintaining this form as we enter the final quarter of this chart, where there's not going to be like, it's going to be more of the same really as we've seen like on the heavier section of this chart. Pavin finding yet another drop here.
Dropping once again below 98%. This is still a full percent of difference, and HoloWise, I was going to say only missed once, only missed twice. And that is still less than what Pavin has missed, so it is very safe. 37,000 points. This is not going to be winnable for Pavin, and we have, what is this, a 6th breakpoint?
Yeah.
They should just get each other
for
to pick.
HoloWise. Now HoloWise needs to win their own pick, which
This
they
is
haven't done yet in this entire
the biggest
match.
struggle, the biggest challenge for either of these players. Can you win your own pick? Now, there's no rice left, interestingly enough. We've got a choice of 2. This is going to be the last pick of the match, of course. If HoloWise wins this, then it is going to be a tiebreaker. So it is the choice between LN1 and Hybrid 1. And I feel like for HoloWise, maybe the Hybrid pick is a little bit better to go for because of what we saw Pavin do on the LNs, of course, winning both of those. So Marionette may be the better pick here. Not that the players know if they haven't played the maps.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's just funny to notice like one of these players kind of questioning themselves on what to actually pick.
This is why you play the pool. Practice the pool, everyone. And then you'll maybe win some of your own picks.
We're just waiting for like the action here coming in the empty room. As a commentator though, we are hoping that HoloWise wins this one.
Oh yeah, we want to see the tiebreaker. Tiebreaker is going to be absolutely wild if we see it here.
Alright, does appear that HoloWise is taking their timeout, though we haven't seen it on stream. And I just took a peek at Twitch chat. HoloWise is taking their timeout to look at the maps.
Have a peek at what type of map either one is. Fairly,
yeah, fair play.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair enough. Just check. It doesn't take very long to be able to tell what kind of map You Are My Curse is. Very, one of those low star coordination release type picks with almost no rice notes in the whole map. Whereas Marionette is more of, I would say, more of a comfortable pick, more of a comfy hybrid overall. and that's going to be the choice for Holo the Wise. I feel like that's a really good choice. We just saw what happened on Lancelot, and while, you know, Marionette obviously a lot lower in, I think, BPM than Lancelot is, it feels a lot slower. Maybe a little bit more LN heavy as well for Marionette, but the comfort, the flow kind of still is the most similar, you would say, out of any other map in the pool.
Yeah. Well, if anything, Holo the Wise does need to win their first pick in this entire match.
Will it happen?
That what happened, yeah. And this matters the most because both of these players are in the losers bracket. They are fighting for their lives in this tournament. Here we go with Marionette.
And we'll see here.
Let's see if the puppeteer handling both of these players are going to survive becoming a Marionette. Oh my god, that felt so bad. Oh my god. That was so bad.
There was an attempt. That's okay. So far, actually, very high accuracies for both players right out of the gate. Some of these LN patterns might be tricky, but Pavin drops a little bit of accuracy. Holo the Wise dropping the first combo, though. That's going to be Pavin in a little bit of a lead.
So far, so good here from Pavin. Though we saw like that LN stare kind of dropping Pavin's accuracy just a tad bit.
Oh, and speaking of LN stairs, there's a lot of them in the second half of this map. So maybe something to keep note of.
The lead is actually pretty small. Just the combo difference making most of the difference in these two players. Pavin negotiating that LN stare much better this time around.
Yeah, the accuracy just about dead even, but Holo the Wise with another miss and a bit of an accuracy drop as well. Now Pavin in the lead, still with the full combo as we're getting into the rise section here. Both players dropping a little bit of accuracy and Pavin dropping the combo now.
That's a pretty sizable drop as well in accuracy, putting them just on a Holo the Wise's level, but Pavin still overall with the better accuracy here. Final quarter with chart incoming, and there's gonna be more of these battles. Pavin finding yet another drop.
Oh, this might just tie things up, actually. Both the accuracies even, both players have missed 2 times. But I think Pavin's misses being a little bit closer to each other might favor him a little bit more. We can see the lead is shrinking over time. 2,000 points. Will it get any closer? Both players still with the same accuracy. I think
Holo the Wise needs to step up just a bit more.
Oh my god, look at the lead. It's shrinking a little bit. Pavin drops a tiny bit of accuracy. And what is this?
What is this?
Oh my god, the act drop at the very end from Holo the Wise is going to be enough, and 1,000 points. Pavin is going to manage to take that one. No tiebreaker today.
Oh man. Well, GG's. Pavin will be advancing to the quarterfinals. To the second round in the losers bracket. Holo the Wise unfortunately missing out on extending this match by just 1 more point, and will unfortunately have to say goodbye to MALT.
And that was such a close match as well. Definitely could have gone either way, but congratulations to both players. Pavin was not interested in playing another tiebreaker this weekend. Unfortunately, he's going to have to play one in about an hour, right?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that is going to be an interesting match. Good luck to Pavin going into that MWC match.
Yeah, but definitely good job here. Next week, of course, progressing in the losers bracket. Gonna have to play 2 matches potentially there, as I believe conditionals will be starting as well.
Yep. And I'm not excited, too excited about scheduling them.
Yep, definitely not a good time to be a host, but for a player, can be fairly exciting. But we'll see. It looks like next we've got another match in about an hour and 15 minutes. I believe that's Maxis versus Shabest, if I am reading those names correctly.
Yep. And just an update on the other match that happened at this block. We had Nanon Bandas the winning 5-1 against Japanias, as we see here on stream. And I think I leave it up to you to wrap this block up.
Okay. So make sure you come back in about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Or if you're also a fan of MWC, go check that out in 45 minutes on Osu Live. But yeah, we'll see you in about an hour for Maxis versus Shabest, another exciting match in the losers bracket, I believe.